always been a part of my life, whether it be going to baseball games when I was little, to now playing softball for around 11 years. I have grown up around sports. Sports have created friendships that will last a lifetime, bonds with my family that will be forever memories, and has taught me lessons that I will use throughout my entire life. Softball has taught me to express myself and my passion and love for it, and it has also taught me the value of leadership, success from hard work, teamwork, and a tremendous amount of other life lessons. My name is Katie DeBoard, and the title of my presentation is Sports, the Art of America. My topic of sports can be greatly considered as an art for a multitude of reasons. Sports are seen as an art among many athletes, coaches, and viewers as they're the expression of human skills. Art is meant to teach us something about ourselves, the world, and how life works. Art allows us to express ourselves and helps us cope with our feelings. Sports allows viewers and players to be exposed to many new ideas and ways of life. Sports gives us the willingness to work, the ability to be a leader, how to make new friends, how to handle a tough situation or problem, how to be competitive, time management, the list may go on forever. Sports are a way of life for many athletes, including myself, and we couldn't envision a life without them. For many, sports have matured us, taught us new things that we will forever grasp onto and use later in our lives. The scholarly essay, Youth Sport, Positive and Negative Impact on Your Athletes, shares that as a very young athlete, the goal of sports is to have fun and to have a positive sport experience through learning and practice of fundamental skills. From a very young age, sports are viewed as an art to many as they instill new feelings, ways of thinking, and they express our passions and ideas. Sports allows us to express ourselves in a way that cannot be seen in the classroom, and they teach us lessons that we may be able to use on and off the field. In Slam Dunk and Hook by poet Yusuf Komunyakaa, he uses powerful diction and descriptions to portray how sports affects us and makes people feel. Fast breaks, layups. With Mercury's insignia on our sneakers, we outmaneuvered the footwork of bad angles. Nothing but a hot swish of strings like silk 10 feet out. In the Roadhouse labyrinth our bodies created, we could almost last forever, poised in midair like storybook sea monsters. A high note hung there a long second. Off the rim, we'd corkscrew up and dunk balls that exploded the skullcap of hope and good intention. Lanky, all hands and feet sprung rhythm. We were metaphysical when girls cheered on the sidelines. Tangled up in a falling, muscles were a bright motor, double flashing to the metal hoop nailed to our oak. When Sonny Boy's mama died, he played nonstop all day, so hard our backboard splintered. Glistening with sweat, we rolled the ball off our fingertips. Trouble was there, slapping a blackjack against an open palm. Dribble, drive to the inside, and glide like a sparrow hawk. Layups, fast breaks. We had moves we didn't know we had. Our bodies spun on swivels of bone and faith. Through a lyric slipknot of joy, we knew we were beautiful and dangerous. The speaker's tone is passionate and relentless throughout the entire poem, as the passionate tone throughout the piece is reiterated, as the author ends the poem with, through a lyric slipknot of joy, we knew we were beautiful and dangerous. The author portrays the sense of passion within the players throughout the poem, highlighting how the players cope with hardships and how basketball represents them. Komunyakaa effectively utilizes repetition and syntax in the beginning of the first and last lines of the poem. The first stanza and the last stanza use the same phrase in different order. Fast breaks, layups was the order in the first stanza, as layups, fast breaks is the structure in the last stanza. The repetitive syntax is utilized as a way to show the player's passion and repetition in the game. They repeat the same moves over and over again, and the author effectively incorporates this into the poem as a way to portray the player's feelings towards the game. The relentless tone throughout the poem is instilled as the author speaks about the player that lost his mother and continues to play with such passion and relent. When Sonny Boy's mama died, he played nonstop all day, so hard our backboard splintered. The intent of the author to add this to the poem is to share the experience of a young boy and the way that he used basketball to cope with his hardships. The poem shares how sports can be viewed as a form of art. Art teaches us about ourselves, the world, and allows us to express ourselves and cope with difficult feelings. In this poem, players share how sports are an art form to them, and in the way that basketball helps them express themselves and their passion. Art is also portrayed in the form of sports in this poem when the player that lost his mother turned to sports to help him cope with his hardship. Like Komunyakaa, the author, Annie Dillard, portrays the world of sports as an expression of self, way to learn more about self in the world, and as a way to cope with hardship in art form. She tells the story of a young boy in love with sports. She shares that football has taught him many new things and has allowed him to express himself. The boy describes football as he thought up a new strategy for every play and whispered it to others. Football is portrayed as an art form in the essay as the boy is taught how to problem solve and he is able to express himself through the plays of the game. The boy also shares how he plays and views the game when he states either you brought him down or hit the ground flat on your chin. It was all or nothing. This reiterates the role football has played as an art form to this boy, as football is viewed as an art. He has learned new strategies and is able to express his skill and passion while learning new things. John Updike continues to support this idea that sports are a form of art in the short story Ex-Basketball Player. This is a story about an ex-basketball player in his life now and how it is different from his life back then when he played basketball. He is described as the best player in town and is now working in a car shop. The ex-basketball player never learned a trade. He just sells gas, checks oil, and changes flats. Once in a while, as a gag, he dribbles an in or two, but most of us remember anyway. This quote is essentially stating that basketball was this man's passion, and it was all he worked at and was best at. This short story reiterates the point that sports, in this case basketball, is seen as an art due to its ways of teaching players new skills, allows them to pursue their passion and express themselves, and allows them to share their feelings with others. In George Bella's realistic oil paint on canvas painting, Dempsey and Furbo, it portrays an image of two men fighting in a wrestling ring. One of the men has just been hit and is falling out of the ring into the roaring crowd. This art piece shares how sports are seen as an art to many, as it is allowing these men to express themselves in the sport and the skill they have mastered, as well as learn new things about their sport and life. Art is a form of something that teaches us something new, allows us to express ourselves, our feelings, and share our passions and ideas. Sports allows us to express ourselves, our skills, and allows us to learn new things about life and others. In these 5 sources above, sports are portrayed as a way to express self-interest and skills, cope with hardships, and learn new things about ourselves and even life. Whether it be sports, technology, books, or anything else, there is always art involved. Sports allows players to learn new things, focus on the things they have worked hard for, and work on leadership skills, teamwork, confidence, and competitiveness. Thank you.